let's talk about Netflix. Mike Schupsky, do you want to I think you probably know more than either of us about the sort of newly announced Marvel deal.
Yeah, I came across this a few days ago. I think it was announced a few days ago in terms of Netflix and Marvel came to a really ambitious agreement in terms of Netflix is going to agree to plan to produce 4 new series of Marvel characters. I think they are Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, and Iron Fist. None of them of who I know anything about because I'm not a comic book reader.
Well, Daredevil was Ben Affleck.
Yeah, and that was a great...
But now he's fucking Batman or some
Batman.
shit. So
yeah,
Daredevil is Batman and
Yes.
also fought in Pearl Harbor.
Yes. And he did all those things, and yes, okay. Moving on. But the point is, these 4 series will eventually tie into a mini-series based on the Defenders. I have no idea what that is either, but...
Yes, we must add as a footnote here. I don't think any of us are really comic book people at all.
No,
We're
not
kind
at
of
all.
far removed from
Not
that.
at all.
I think
I enjoy a good superhero movie, but I've never really read a comic.
I love the superhero movie. I think I've read like 1 or 2 graphic novels, but I would not in any way, shape, or form consider myself a comic book reader.
Right. So even the Marvel announcement, we're sort of removed from that.
Yeah. But just like the idea that it was announced, I mean, Marvel, first of all, is owned by Disney. And the fact that Disney and
Which I don't
Netflix...
think I was aware of.
Yeah, it's
interesting.
It's really interesting because like the
What
fact
doesn't
that
Disney own?
I mean, if you go down the rabbit hole, you'll just find that they own everyone. They own your soul. They own everything.
So it seems.
Yes, but the fact that Netflix has agreed to this ambitious deal of series is really, really remarkable.
But I think they've proven that they can do it. I mean, I think it's not just that that they are capable of producing a series. It's that they're capable of producing a really good series.
Yeah,
but you have House of Cards, you have Orange is the New Black, both really highly critically received.
Arrested
Development, they brought that back, and now, I mean, Mitch Hurwitz has been talking about doing more seasons.
Yeah, what's the Ricky Gervais series that was just out? The Ricky Gervais came out with a Netflix series.
Derek.
Was that Netflix?
Netflix is ours, but it's not created by Netflix. It was created for Channel 4 in the UK, I think. But Netflix,
I think
is
Netflix
the distributor.
They have
now.
distribution.
They didn't create the show, but they took it. And
So is it on? So is it on? Big question: is it on BBC America then?
No,
because
Channel 4, like I said, it was
Channel 4 doesn't have any agreement with BBC America.
Well, Channel 4 is BBC.
No, it's one of the ones that isn't. I don't know if I have the name exactly right because there is BBC 1 and BBC 2, BBC 3, but there are there's Skins is not a BBC
right. Channel 4 was.
Because I swear I thought that Ricky Gervais series was exclusively going to be in America.
I think it might now exclusively be Netflix. It wasn't originally created by Netflix, but I think the point.
But I think it's an interesting point to note that they have the sort of they have the clout to say we're going to be the sole American distributor.
Ricky Gervais
for this series.
Yeah.
That's
pretty big.
You have to have balls to be able to do that.
Yeah.
Netflix does have balls. Yeah. I think they've proven themselves to be ballful.
That's a word.
That's a word. That's
we're coining many phrases tonight.
But anyway, I think the distinction with these series is House of Cards, Orange is the New Black, Arrested Development. Very critically acclaimed series, but relatively, I guess I would say small series. Like they're small scale. They're not. I wouldn't say they're like big tentpole action series. Like Marvel. Like these.
It's true. They're going to be sort of action.
When I think of when I think of Marvel series, I think of like superhero, fantastical element tentpole series that a lot of people watch. This is like a new foray for them. This is like kind of like a network series for them almost in a way. Like a lot of people watch this show. So it's like they've definitely cut their teeth with these shows and they've had phenomenal success. Again, it's like it's amazing like how
they get really good production quality because they hire quality talent.
I don't want to say I hesitated to say small because House of Cards looked amazing.
Yeah, right. And that's the thing is that they can sort of I don't know what it is. I mean, I suppose it has to just be like they have a really good sense of what quality is.
Yeah.
And, so they produce things that are quality, and people really respect them for that. And, and it not only do you get then customers coming in for, I just want to be able to watch movies or series whenever I want to, but they have all this really good original content too, and so it becomes almost like an HBO thing where I can subscribe even if I don't care about the other movies that they have streaming. Shit, they have these really good original series that I can't watch anywhere else.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I think their original goal was to be like an AMC or an FX. Like, I want to make a Mad Men, I want to make a Breaking Bad, I want to make a Sons of Anarchy.
Well, I mean, at the rate they're going,
like, why not?
They're not too far off.
They absolutely have. Yes, absolutely.
They could.
Yeah. Like, I mean, I think that's what, like, the House of Cards and Orange is the New Black was the idea behind, like, we're going to make these shows that are very critically acclaimed, not necessarily, like, I don't know, I wouldn't say, like, not big hits, but, like, shows that are going to get a lot of buzz in terms of, like, the critical aspect, but not in terms of, like everybody watched it.
Well, but I think there's an obvious difference between something you can tune in every once a week to watch on a scheduled thing, and the ability to just go to Netflix and watch an entire season of something because they say, well, here's the season, go for it, because that's what Netflix does. And so it's an entirely different way of thinking about how we watch like episodic narratives, and I think that's like and that if there's anyone to do it, it's them, because they have all of the data on people's viewing habits too. Yeah, they know exactly how people watch different shows.
I think that's why they started with like a House of Cards, because they noticed people were watching Mad Men. They noticed people were watching. I think Sons of Anarchy is on Netflix. I think they noticed people were watching Mad Men. They noticed people were watching these really kind of niche shows. And
Cerebral dramas.
Cerebral dramas. And they said, wow, people
a lot of Breaking Bad.
People like, lots of Breaking Bad.
I think it's important to note that Netflix secured, the first half of season 5 just in time for the
catch-up of the second half.
The catch-up for the second half before it was released on DVD, didn't they?
Well, not just that.
And the UK, is that what you're going to mention now?
Yes.
Go for it.
But I mean, well, you go ahead, because I was going to mention something else.
Okay, but I think it's even more important that Netflix streamed all the new episodes of second half of season 5 to the UK. Like the night they aired in the United States, Netflix is the provider that brought those episodes to the United Kingdom.
Mm-hmm. But I also think that Netflix was almost, I wouldn't say solely responsible, but like the majority of the viewers that watched season 5B of Breaking Bad were as a result of Netflix, because season 5A was I think came out on Netflix like a month before the second half of season 5 came out.
Yeah, that's exactly what I did. They were like, hey, here you go.
And it gave people plenty of time to catch up.
Right. And I think that is a great advantage of Netflix, is that people who are, in this case, late adopters of a show.
Yeah.
I mean, like myself, I wasn't with Breaking Bad from the beginning. I came in a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
And so you can catch up with several seasons of something before the new season comes out. Mm-hmm. And it increases viewership of live things on cable networks when you have them all available to watch this way. I think it's also important to note that I think it decreases piracy, because it's the only way you can eliminate piracy is to make it easier to obtain them legally than it is to obtain them illegally.
Yeah.
It would take more effort for me to go and find a torrent and wait for it to download and
see if it's good quality.
See if it's password protected, like all of these other obnoxious things that always happen to you when you torrent things. Not that I've ever done that. But it's the ease with which I can jump on Netflix and search a show and have something playing in 30 seconds or less. Why would I ever consider downloading it? Plus, then it's taking up space on my hard drive. I don't need that shit. It's streaming. It's in high definition all the time.
Also,
what's not to like?
Also true. Even when you own the DVDs of a TV series, Netflix gives it to you in HD.
In HD.
In HD.
So if they
I can
have it-
watch Star Trek: The Next Generation in HD.
Right, and it's like we own the DVD for There Will Be Blood. Why? But we
Why
stream
would I?
it from Netflix because it's in
True.
high definition.
That's true.
I had another point here. I think I lost it. I think it's gone.
There
Maybe it'll come back.
Make some
There it
signs.
goes. There it goes. But I mean, all of this stuff, like, okay, yes, critically acclaimed series, critically acclaimed movies, yes, but now they're making their first foray into like the big, I guess I would say Hollywood, like the big TV show that, like the water cooler moment, everybody watches and talks about it. Like they want to make that kind of series with the Marvel series. So like, can that type of show fit into the Netflix model?
I think it can. I mean, obviously not at the same time, but having viewing parties is certainly even easier with Netflix because you can make your own schedule. The only thing that I worry about is I'm not sure that is the world really ready for a double superhero ensemble like. This Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is a really big gamble, and I think the only reason they're finding success is because it's Joss Whedon.
Yes. Yeah, that is a big
because the Avengers was so, for some reason, like Avengers was like cute. It's still was like the third. Now it's become the third.
Yes.
Maybe I made that number third highest profit of all movies in the history of time.
Have you seen the Avengers?
I have seen the Avengers. It was great.
It was great. Oh god, that's why people like the Avengers.
But Netflix doesn't.
So great.
Netflix doesn't have the Avengers. It has a fringe benefit, but we watch these things because of the characters. You know,
he said hesitantly.
Right, yeah. But the Avengers is fun because fucking, I almost called him Tony Danza. Tony Stark, Robert Downey Jr. is so great. Scarlett Johansson
Tony Danza was really great.
Tony Danza made a great Iron Man. He was great.
I think, and again, I do not have any familiarity with any of these Marvel characters. But I think, could it be that they have chosen these characters or been allowed, however you want to approach it there, to do series based on these characters because they're sort of lesser known characters and maybe they can... They don't have as much pop culture baggage to bring along with them. Like, oh man, we need to have this character show up. What about his arch nemesis? Like, no one knows what the arch nemesis of
Jessica Jones.
Jessica Jones and Luke. Who is the Iron Fist? I don't know.
The fact that he's referencing the page that we've used for reference.
Right. I can't even remember the name long enough.
Right.
We can't even remember the character.
And I'm sure there are like comic book fans out there
that are dying.
That are like shouting at me right now. But I don't know who these people are.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like you have Batman and the Joker. You have Superman and Lex Luthor. You have all of these things that you kind of everyone knows that whatever. But with these characters, they're small enough characters that they could do anything they want. They can change it up. They can sort of go their own way, and they could even make it not actually, like you were saying, this big tentpole action movie. It has to look like the Avengers.
Yes.
Maybe it doesn't. Maybe it has to be.
Maybe that's
whatever
their
Netflix.
Maybe that's their game.
Well, also the fact that of a limit of budget, like this can't be an Avengers $200 million project. This has to be within the means of a TV show. Like even with Netflix making all the money that it has, even with Netflix being the success that it has, you still have to keep it within boundaries of like a realistic budget for a TV show. And because of that fact, I think you could have a superhero show that is a little bit more. I hesitate to say use the word realistic because I always hate to use the word realistic.
Maybe grounded in reality.
Grounded in reality. And be able to make it more about the characters and make it more about the story that they're trying to tell.
Yeah, and not so much about big action sequences.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Which I think is harder to sustain in an episodic narrative anyway.
Yeah. But
yeah, the Avengers mightn't have worked. I mean, that Hulk plot hole, they would need to get around to explaining how he all of a sudden he can control himself.
Yes.
He gets really angry and he doesn't know what he does. until the ending needs him to be a good guy.
Until he does. Until one day he just figures it out and he's ready to save the day. But like, I feel like there could be less moments like that in these series because I don't know. Like, yeah, the fact that people don't know anything about them, like, they have a little bit more leeway with these characters. Like, it's I want to say
I think that's a good thing.
I want to say that it's almost like KOTOR in the fact that they just did
that
something.
That is an interesting way to tie it in.
They just did something no one knew it. No one gave a fuck about. No one gave a fuck what happened like 20,000 years before Luke Skywalker existed. No one gives a fuck about Iron Fist because they don't know who Iron Fist is. You can do whatever the fuck you want with Iron Fist. Is that his name? Iron Fist. Okay. You can do whatever the fuck you want with Iron Fist because no one gives a shit about who Iron Fist is. Sorry, comic book care. Sorry, comic book.
I mean, I can only. There's this dark part of my mind.
Iron Fist is listening, and he's gonna come punch you in the face.
I mean, is that what Iron Fist does? Because I can think of it. What is his superpower?
The podcast is imploding again.
Maybe Iron Fist is really for a different audience than the Avengers.
It's Netflix after hours.
Exclusive.
Yeah.
Netflix for adults. But
they have Netflix for kids, so why not Netflix for adults?
Why not?
Netflix is going to get into instant porn streaming.
Instant porno. Instant porno.
Yeah.
No commercials. None of that shit.
The future.
All right. So yeah, we can look forward to that, and I think when that comes out, we'll get our answer. I think you're right that it is pretty likely that they're gonna be a little unconventional about it because Netflix, I think, is, as you said, they've proven themselves that they understand quality. They're not afraid to do things that are unconventional, and so they've, rather than jumping on the superhero bandwagon of what has been successful, they're going to blaze their own trail. They're going to say, well, let's take a superhero and do something different.
I would say it's conventional and yet unconventional in that it's in the superhero genre, which we all know is a big moneymaker, but it's also about characters that are not particularly well known, so maybe they have leeway to do something that's a little bit more interesting than what's been put forth so far.
Yeah, I mean, I think there is there's great things on the horizon for Netflix. I think Netflix, just a final kind of thing here. I think Netflix is as successful as it is today because it took a basic idea. I mean, it was a natural extension of DVD rental services. You go to the store, you rent a DVD for a few nights, and you bring it back. Well, they just did that through the mail, and then they said, oh, well, people have high-speed internet now, and we can stream things to their homes, and then that took over the DVD services. And I don't know anyone now who uses the DVD services. Everyone uses the streaming services. Even on the Xbox 360, half of my friends at any given point.
Although it is still a shame that there are plenty of great movies that you can only get in DVD.
This is the one stopgap that I think Netflix tried to hurdle with their Quickster fiasco when they said, like, we're just going to try to stream now. But, like, when they get to that point when they can just stream and they can stream all the movies that they offer.
I think that, and this is just my opinion, it's grounded in
nothing.
No fact. But I hope that I'm correct in this assumption. You can tell me if you disagree, but I think those are kind of relics. That's a result of different sort of distribution rights and the relics of an age where physical media rental was the predominant force. I think going forward, everyone kind of sees the writing on the wall. Mm-hmm. Blockbuster doesn't exist anymore. Video King doesn't exist anymore. The physical media rental isn't a thing. And it will continue to be not a thing into the future. And digital streaming and digital downloading is the way of the future. And so getting on board, with that, I mean, it's either agree to let Netflix stream your film or have no one watch your film. So when it comes to that point, when people sort of wake up and realize that, then I think we'll have more people jumping on board with with Netflix there. But the greater point I was making about why Netflix has been successful and why I think it will continue to be successful is that they started out with this sort of really small, simple idea that they were really good at. And they've since expanded that because of the necessity to grow larger. And everything indicates that they've made all the right decisions there.
Yeah.
And in the production of really good original series.
Yeah, I mean, just a few hiccups aside, I mean, quick through obviously, but like ever since then, they've made excellent choices in terms of like what do we want to give the people that they will definitely want to watch, like on our streaming service. And there's no limit to like what they can. I would hesitate to say, but like there's no limit to what they can accomplish at this point because
Pizza.
They have pizza, streaming pizza to your home living room.
Comes right out of your slot loading drive.
I mean, once that happens, do we really have to move?
Do I have to leave the house?
To leave the apartment ever?
Should I leave the house ever if it's pizza?
I don't think so.
To
they stream beer?
I mean,
streaming beer and pizza. That's all we need.
Oh my god, we have the technology.
We have the technology.
This is America.